Now, it seems to me that Dan Sobel isn't active on YouTube, but he's active on other social media platforms, specifically Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And what I have found is, Austin Lee's father, his father has made like three serious messages on Dan Sobel, and then shortly, like as of recently, he made his fourth message. So there's a pretty good reason behind this, considering Dan Sobel has been up to his antics again. So let's watch the video.
Have none. Because anyone who wishes ill on other people is a very antisocial and maladaptive person. You have a personality disorder. And I say that with all sincerity because I've seen this before and I'll probably see more of it again. And you are definitely not the last. When you fail to take accountability for what you do, that's a problem. You say, I don't have rights to your personal information. Again, I point out to the fact that you held up that padded envelope during your reveal for everyone to see. So, hey, I just use what's available.
Chicken and rice, is that yours?
Yeah.
So you don't eat supper now?
No.
Okay.
Okay, you provided it. I ran with it. But the bottom line is, you don't ever hold yourself accountable. You make yourself to be the victim. And victim blaming, right? Blaming us for making you the victim doesn't hold any water. Okay, you need to look at yourself. And then when you wonder why people leave you and they are not your friends anymore, and you hate them for it, again, you have to ask yourself, why did they leave? You never ask that question. Why? What precipitated that?
Yeah, Dan
If you
Sobel
ever
burns
stop
a
to
lot of
think about
bridges.
it, you'd have your answer, right? Because there has to be a reason. It doesn't just happen just because. If someone doesn't like something, do you think that they're really going to stick around and take more of it? Or to tolerate more of that? Whatever that may be? But if it's something that they clearly don't like, they have all the rights to end whatever relationship they may have with whoever. Whether it be you, their employer, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, the same thing. Okay? So again, you have to ask yourself why. And you're going to see that it really, in my opinion, comes back to you. It's because of what you reflect, what you project onto others, and how you carry yourself. You seem to feel that you are entitled to do these things. And in your message where you hope that me and Austin will die of a heart attack and that your father is defending you from whatever Michael's doing. I have no knowledge about that stuff. Not my wheelhouse. But I can't imagine any parent wanting to defend the kind of behavior that you exhibit online. And that's documented by your own videos. Which brings me to another point. So for those who still choose to support Dan, that's entirely your prerogative. But when you say that you reported my response video, whether it be the first, second, or the third one, because you feel that I'm harassing or attacking Dan, well, again, you have to look at what he has been doing. And although it's been rehashed ad nauseum in other people's commentary videos or the compilations of his videos, look at what he's saying and doing. Really, is this what you support? Is this what you like to do or wish you could do to others? Because, like they say, birds of a feather flock together. So, if this is what you support, have at it, okay?
Yeah,
I could
Dan
care less.
Sobel has been
But
so
I will say this to you,
unhinged that even
to the
parents
Dan
of other
Sobel
people.
supporters. You are very, very misguided. Because in supporting someone like that, you're enabling their behavior. You allow him to have a certain amount of power over you because you're giving him his ego strokes. You are his pawns. Think about that. You allow someone to have an influence over you that you are voluntarily giving to him. Now again, like I said, it's entirely your prerogative, but I want you to think about that. And think about it really hard. Because if you think that I'm attacking him, I would choose something else to say about that. I have very different words to describe that. Okay? I don't go out attacking people, saying, how dare you do this, or you need to go buy this and whatnot. I don't do that. I have never done that. If you look at all of my videos that I've made, which is only 3, I don't attack anyone. Even when I'm addressing Dan, I'm not attacking him. I'm calling him out, and I'm refuting him point by point. Everything I say does have a ring of truth to it because it is right there. So, if you choose to ignore the facts, fine. But just understand that you're living in your own parallel universe and you will be on the wrong side of things. Because anyone with an ounce of common sense will see the truth for what it is. And again, I was brought into this because, to Austin's credit, he tried to handle it himself, but once the attacks got personal and there was no stopping Dan from doing that, that's when he enlisted my help.
I'm not
So
Chris
he's
Chan.
not being a child or a baby or a crybaby, whatever. Okay? He tried to be a man about it. He tried to deal with it. But he came to me because
I am not
he felt
Chris
that was
Chan.
my
What are you talking
experience
about?
and my knowledge as an adult.
Do I sound
that
like
I would
Chris
be able to
Chan?
help him. And I do want to help him because he needs to know how to deal with personalities like this. Because they are out there. Make no mistake, they are everywhere.
Bless Sonichu and anime
But
profile
how
pics
we handle
everywhere.
them is what defines us. How we come to terms with that and to rise above it is what defines us. So I leave you with that. Think about your choices. Think about what sort of power you're giving to someone. And then you make your own decision. That's it.
What anime is that anime girl from? That character? That's the character site drawn by Zero. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Lee. Yeah. He's actually right about Dan Sobel. There's a good reason. Dan Sobel is still relatively unhinged. Christian bless. Dan got a brain worm, it sounds like. Dan Sobel. Well, it's something. Yeah, Dan's Magic Club. It's also known as Dan's Magic Club. And yeah. Interesting. Doggy corn dog covering Dan Sobel. I never knew that video existed. Be up here, but yeah, like Dan Sobel. Yeah. Mr. Toad plays like he says Dan is a literal clown. He can't find something else productive to do in his life instead of harassing and threatening people on the internet. It's funnier than Dan, whatever the fuck his name is. Dan Sobel. That's. Don't you read the title? It's basically Dan Sobel. I am covering the controversies of Dan Sobel specifically. Like, wow. Dan Sobel, the biggest and most dangerous man-child on the internet, and is covered by 4 different YouTube channels. Oh, let's check it out then.
I'm about to bust. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was the bathroom. Oh, good.
What is poppin', everybody? Been a while, isn't it? So I'm back for doing another commentary video. And yeah, I'm covering Dan Sobel this time. So I don't care when anybody was like, oh, well, you're in the wrong because I make mistakes sometimes. So, we're gonna be doing Dan Sobel, like I said. Anyways, let's start with something. So, his YouTube channel is Dan the My Little Pony and Sophia the First Fan, 1999. What is with your retarded people with long f***ing names? Seriously. Hasn't he just having an idea of making the short name like mine is Donkey Corn? Or Donkey Corn Corporation?
Oh, that's
Before
Donkey
we get
Corn.
into the topic, chat, what do you guys think of my new look? I look slightly new and bright, did I? Pretty sweet, huh?
That's the
It's really
Doggy
better
Corn
than
mentioned in
Ashido
the,
form that I
in the
used
dance
last
page on
few
Wikitubia.
commentary videos. And for my reaction thumbnails. Okay, folks, I'm in like Dan's YouTube page right now on Wikitubia, and his content, he gotten exposed a lot on YouTube. It went f***ing viral. People can't stand his childish behavior. Take it from me, who just heard it from Saluted Content and Exploded Apple. Shout out to these guys. So, Dan Sobel was born on January 13, 1999, and he's 26 years old, almost 27, also known online as Dan's Magic Club, or Dan the My Little Pony and Sophia the First Fan. The name was too long. Is a YouTuber, TikToker, and member of the physical media community who is known for his food movie and show reviews, commentary videos, rants, and controversial behavior. Well, I think physical media community was kicked him out because of his childish and pedophilic behavior. Yeah, this is the f***ing deal, chat. A real deal, actually. So, he joined, like, YouTube on November 30th, 2019. So, YouTubers have been creating videos just like in Dan since 2020. But a majority of Dan's YouTube presence and content is lost due to simply not being...
Yeah, he has a lot of lost
According
videos.
to the Leap and Lemur, Dan has also known for his videos and behavior since at least 2018. Due to a found video which pointed out some of Dan's unsavory and flattering behavior from that time. He also included that Dan had likely been terminated off of YouTube at an unknown point due to him being mentioned on the Terminated Channel's article on Wikitubia.
Okay, to be honest, with the video, the Dan Sobel show, that the Leaping Lemur has mistakenly thought it was made in 2018. No, that was actually made in 2022. That was actually made in 2022, and I'm the one who made that video. I mean, yeah, that video was kind of dumb, but then again, Dan Sobel is like really unhinged. Yeah, it's specifically used the song by The Prodigy. And yeah, it's basically meant to be like an opening with a bunch of funny shit or something.
mention the Terminator?
Yeah. Well, Dan Sobel probably may have been terminated. I don't think people have known of Dan Sobel in 2018. I don't think so. Not on the internet, that is.
Channel's article before. Let's check it out, Chet. Oh, it didn't exist. Dan created his current YouTube channel on November 30th, 2019. He changed the channel's name from Dan, the My Little Pony.
I think that's probably his first
Dan's Magic
YouTube
Club
video.
in early 2025.
Yeah. I really didn't want to cause any confusion at all, but like, it seems to me that, according to Leaping Lemur, Dan Sobel may have been on YouTube earlier than that, and I don't know for sure if he was on YouTube earlier than that. It's just much.
What a surprise, huh? He found another way to make his nickname or YouTube channel's name even shorter. Bravo! After an absence caused from being grounded by Donovan Platten and his father for 3 weeks, I forgot to tell you guys, he got grounded by the former Blue's Clues host named Joe. I heard of that from Exploding Apple. He got owned, and he didn't just fucking retire on YouTube, bro. He still wanted to keep going and make our lives even worse of his childish fucking behavior. Also, Dan returned to YouTube on April 19th, 2025, until he closed his account again on July 18th, 2025. Yeah, due to him not to handle hate and criticism. If I were him, I would just ignore them nowadays, like I have, because it's been going on for a fucking year, and it's starting to get fucking old and annoying already. On August 23rd, 2025, the Suffolk County Police Department were called and eventually dispatched. They arrested Dan for allegedly sending death threats to people online for unknown reason and was transferred to a mental hospital for 2 to 3 days. Dan has no criminal record. Bullshit! Has been transferred to mental hospitals numerous times. That makes sense because he was grooming minors and just sending death and sexual threats to them, to minors, and anybody he fucking hates. I don't think there's a cure of that.
Yeah, like, Dan Sobel, like, oh man, like, everyone has been, like, so many people have been getting angry with putting up with his antics, honestly. They were getting really sick and tired of him, and, yeah, like, he seems to really be having some sort of personality disorder. Like, the fact that Dan Sobel was like, and yeah, he did actually send death threats. He sent a death threat to, I think, Sean Donner. He told him that he would shoot him with a shotgun. You know. Oh, hello, Anna. No, actually, Appa. Wait, I remember Appa Cabus or whatever. It's in Cyrillic, so sometimes the words of Cyrillic can confuse me, but I can understand. I can read Cyrillic, so sorry if I butchered your name. But yeah. It's interesting. Dan Sobel is like a rabbit hole of his own. And many people who either are fans or haters of Dan Sobel are rabbit holes of their own too. I was even warned at one point that I would become another Dan Sobel if I continue my antics. Except the difference here is I don't watch little baby cartoons and stuff like that. You know? I'm not one of those people who, like, go off on watching baby cartoons. I don't do that. But and yeah, with Sean Donner, he is admitted to doing some things, one of them which can be considered a felony for, like, possibly sexual harassment, which isn't good, even though I regret being over the top towards Sean Donner. The thing is, a felony is not a good thing, honestly. Dan Sobel, going to a mental hospital like several times, but he still, like Dan Sobel just still sends death threats to people. He still does that, you know? From what I can recall. He's still, like, he still thinks that people not liking the shows he likes is, like, something that is inexcusable in his mind. And yet, and he still, like, threatens people on the internet. And no wonder why he has so many videos about him compared to the videos about me. Okay. Seems like there's a proper Lolcow community and the stupid Lolcow community. The stupid Lolcow community basically being Kiwi Farms. Which even 4chan themselves really don't like it. Encyclopedia Dramatica doesn't want anything to do with fucking Kiwi Farms. Kiwi Farms is a fucking joke, man. They're like... they have the same mental capacity of that of Dan Sobel. But I would say even Dan Sobel is better than Kiwi Farms. Still doesn't excuse Dan Sobel for all the horrible things he's done. No. I know this is not meant to be an attack video on Dan Sobel. That's not the point. Yeah, I'm calling him out, but this is not supposed to be something like... I don't recommend anyone talk to Dan Sobel, because his antics is really going to piss you off, and I really, 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 really advise against trying to troll this guy, honestly. It's just stupid. Just observe him from afar, you know. Conduct your own research about him, but, you know... But like... it was mentioned that his father was... like, he didn't even care that Dan Sobel does this shit. Like, what even is his father? Like, I never even seen his father. I never even seen his mother. Or did I? Or maybe I did. Or maybe I did see his family lineup. I don't know much about them. Yeah, he also does the you're grounded stuff, you know. Yeah, I mean, he also says, you were grounded until you die of COVID. That's wrong. And, yeah, and also the sexual harassment threats, like telling a 6-year-old girl to shove her finger up her, private parts. That is not good. Mind you, I admit to being unhinged myself. Especially in early 2025. Still trying to control myself. But like Dan Sobel, he just really doesn't care. He really just doesn't care, and that's just sad. If he continues to do this, he is really gonna get in trouble. I talk with my own therapists. And I admit the things I do to admit the things I do when I talk to the therapist. That's what I mean. You know? Like with the whole Kiwi Farm situation, like with the whole Notion Tohoshi situation. Honestly, okay, mind you, I used to send a bunch of death threats to the people on Kiwi Farms, and honestly, it's a good thing I stopped with that. Pretty much stopped with that. Still hate the people on Kiwi Farms, but I do remember how scared I was back in the day. Like Dan Sobel, the fact that he has been transferred to mental hospitals like numerous times, quite something. Yeah, Dan Sobel does say on many points, I'm sorry, but he doesn't feel sincere about it and continues to make the same mistakes. Okay? Yeah, I mean, Dan Sobel, like, considering his mental state, he really shouldn't be on social media. He really shouldn't be on social media. And people are wondering, how is Dan Sobel not facing any criminal charges yet? And yeah, the Perfect Citizen got Joe from Blue's Clues involved. That is something right there. And like Donovan Patton, who played Joe from Blue's Clues, really didn't like what Dan Sobel was doing. Yeah, like. Yeah, you can work your ass off and never get one. And Dan Sobel admits that he even does things like what many people consider pedophilia. Just wrong. Like, I first heard of Dan Sobel back in like December of 2022. Hey Dan, yeah, Dan Sobel's actually not on the stream. It's just me saying featuring Dan Sobel is with the person I'm talking about, Dan Sobel. Yeah, I've been watching that video, Dan Sobel, the biggest and most dangerous man-child in the internet. Wait, it says in the internet? Isn't it supposed to say on the internet? Yeah, I think that's Monterey Stadium that has that beautiful view. Yeah, Austin Lee. Yeah, Dan Sobel said that Dan Sobel like makes deportation threats against people like one of the parents that have been from South Korea. Dan Sobel makes deportation threats. Yeah. Deviant Cello. Yeah, I first heard of Dan Sobel from Deviant Cello. Basically, and Deviant Cello has made statements saying that's like his original videos were like A-log attempts, and he later disowned them and deleted them. Yeah, there are like 3, now 4 videos of Austin Lee's father calling out Dan Sobel. Man. I remember, like, in a Google Meets call, he would, like, take off his clothes and dance and say, "I'm a Moody John." And it was alleged that one of his members in the call was a minor. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
So Devin Osborne, Jose Crespin, Lance White, and Vinny the social media guy, if you guys are watching this, what the fuck is your problem?
Yeah, that guy. Oh, man. Yeah, like Dan Sobel, like. Oh, man. Like watching like little kids shows at that age where he's older than me is just absolutely weird. You know. And then there's also this video, the VHS villains of YouTube's physical media community. Like, yeah. Yeah, don't be like Dan Sobel. Whatever you do, don't ever be like Dan Sobel. If you share the same antics as Dan Sobel, you might want to reconsider your decisions. Dan Sobel cuts day program. Changes clothes, rounded.
Dan Sobel cuts day program, change his clothes / grounded.
Oh fuck, I got my wet clothes webbed. Now I have to deal with feelings and comfortable rest of the stupid day. Let me see if I dry this shit off. Stupid fun shit water. I can even dry this shit on fully.
What does it mean by day program?
Much better, let's run back to day program.
Dan fucking Sobel, what the fuck you doing to home?
Dad, I got explained.
No, don't explain anything. So why the fuck you cut a program? It is so. Tell me the fucking truth.
Well, Dad, that's once today when I go in to drink my water. Then I spill my water, or use the restroom, and dry up with paper towel. It's run dry. Boy, I say fuck it. Just put my clothes up. I will get back to the program. See you later, bye.
No, you're not. You won't fuck going anywhere. I am talking to you.
I cannot deal my clothes for the 2 fucking hour of program, Dad. You had a problem.
No, really, you do not skip the day program. It's just fucking water. So tell me why the fuck you skip day program.
Okay, I am sorry, Dad.
No, don't be sorry. I will tell your staff. You are getting a lot of trouble. You are fucking grounded. 4233330000000. Here, go to bed now.
Oh, great. I am grounded for 1 week because I am to run back home to change my clothes. What up?
Yeah, I actually went to a day hospital program like last year. So it's basically... So like day programs, basically that for usually people with developmental disabilities and physical impairments or mobility issues that require support with daily living activities. Okay. You know, seriously, a lot of this has been reflecting on myself. You know, nobody wants to be a Dan Sobel. Nobody wants to be this unhinged.